Hi there, Taurus. Welcome to your June 2019 love reading. It's Raina here. Oh man, some of these readings I've only been doing the tarot, and I've been wanting to do also pick a card from the universe has your back. So hopefully I won't forget at the end of this reading, because I've actually forgotten at least 2 times. So boy, you've been getting a lot of these major arcana cards. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. The heart of the matter is the Strength card. This card is connected to Leo, and I did Leo's reading, I think, earlier today, maybe. I can't remember. But I think I got some cards with Taurus. Or I mentioned Taurus because of all the earth signs, Leo, I think, goes for Taurus because you're both fixed signs. The Strength card, to me, is a card of endurance. And you do have a lot of endurance as a fixed sign. That's one of the qualities of fixed. Fixed signs are enduring. So Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo are all fixed signs. And they're all enduring. And, you know, they're all considered stubborn because they're fixed signs. And if you think about it, stubbornness is a form of endurance. It's like, I'm going to continue doing this or thinking this forever because I have this endurance to withstand all kinds of objections and all that stuff. Now, the Strength card to me, obviously, I mean, it's self-explanatory that it means that a person can be strong, but it could almost be more on the emotional level. And because of this, it could indicate having to hold on because something has been challenging. Because if you think about it, you don't need strength if there's nothing challenging you in the first place. You have to be strong when you're faced with a lot of challenges. So that's why I sometimes think that the person has gone through something if they get the Strength card as the central theme here. Or maybe like right now you're trying to be strong about a certain situation. In the past position, we have the Four of Cups, and you can see by this card that the person is receiving a cup, which represents emotions or maybe even love from somebody, and look at the expression on their face. They're indifferent. In some cases, this can be they are disgusted, or they're just not feeling that affection for that person. And it can be a case where if you are married or in a committed relationship, you had a partner who did something to you that you find it hard to forgive. And so it's kind of like you're at this stage. You may not be angry anymore. You may have gotten over that stage, but you still are resentful. You still are disgusted by it. And of course, the one that comes to mind in a romantic relationship is cheating. That's like a big one, right? And just that feeling of like, I can forgive, but I can't forget. And this is something that I think Taurus people struggle with, are grudges, and even when they stay in that relationship, they may never really feel the same. And that can damage the relationship. And it doesn't have to be just infidelity. It could be another issue, but that's kind of the big one. And that's the one that would really bother you because you tend to be a possessive type of person. So that's like number one no-no for you is not being loyal. And the higher message is the Empress, which is the feminine principle. It is the card of the Earth Mother. And so it can actually represent somebody who's pregnant. You know, this is a spiritual message. And one thing that I could say, if this is a relationship that has soured, you could look at it in a good light and say, you don't want the father of your child, you don't want to become a mother with somebody who you can't trust. So thankfully this happened before that. Or the Empress could be, because this is a card just of like love, you know, and it could be like it wasn't love, you know, obviously it wasn't love on their part. Maybe you felt genuine love for this person, but they didn't show you love by their actions. So just accept it and don't try to, you know, create a false narrative, because you don't want to have to like change your life. You just want to have your life be normal again, but it can't be. It isn't. You know what I mean? Because if the Four of Cups is describing you, Taurus, then you're probably feeling very disappointed. Well, you know, the Four of Cups isn't, I don't think it's a card of disappointment. It's more of a blah feeling, or I guess it could be depressed, but it's indifference. Yeah, I think that's the best way of describing it. And you know, when people feel indifferent, when they've been hurt so much that they no longer care. So in a weird way, this is a good place to be, because then you know, I'm not going to continue to be here. Now, if you're single, the Strength card could represent a Leo, and the Four of Cups could represent somebody, maybe a Cancer, water sign person. Scorpio is your opposite sign, and the other water sign is Pisces, who you just have fallen out of love with. What crosses you is the Ten of Swords, and this is that card of betrayal. But it could be that you're not allowing yourself to get to the point where you can recover from this fully. And this is kind of like what I was alluding to. You may know that you're in a relationship that is not healthy, that is not a good one, but you have this desire to kind of endure it. And you may do it for your own reasons. It might not be because you're being selfless. You may simply not want to have to move into your own place. Maybe that's too much trouble, or maybe you don't want to upset your life right now. And I say this because fixed signs typically don't like change. They don't want to have to move to a new place. They don't want to, maybe you don't want to live alone, even if you aren't getting along with your partner most of the time. There might be just all these other reasons that keep you there. And what happens is then you can't really fully deal with what happened. The Ten of Swords is a card of betrayal. And it means that somebody metaphorically stabbed you in the back. Maybe they even lied that they did it, and you felt like you were crazy for even just, believing it, and then you found out the truth, and it made you feel even worse. So being able to move on is so important. And number 10 is number of like closure, endings, and the end of a cycle. So being able to move on and accept whatever it was that happened without needing to make excuses for it is the best way to move on. So in other words, somebody cheats and you say, well, I kind of understand why they cheated because I was working long hours, or I went home, I went to my home country and I abandoned this person for 3 months. I abandoned my husband. What was he supposed to do? He's a man, what is he supposed to? And, and the thing is, it's like, it doesn't mean that you have to drag somebody's name through the mud either. You can just say, oh, well, we tried it, it didn't work out, and now we're going our separate ways, and it's fine. I wish him well, or I wish her well. Speaking of which, this could be the advice or what's coming in. The Death card can indicate that transition, that irrevocable ending, and speak about, I mentioned of all the, I said that, it could be like a Scorpio is your opposite sign, that Four of Cups. But it's just a card that indicates that, because it connects with death. And death, people just take things literally, but death, the idea of physical death, what it symbolizes is something that you cannot control. It's an ending that you cannot control. If somebody dies, you can't bring them back to life. And so you have to accept endings, which is kind of what the Ten of Swords was asking you to do as well. And accept it through what happened, by really seeing what happened for what it was and realizing, yes, this person betrayed me, this person cheated on me, and I don't want a partner like that. I want to trust my partner. So I'm letting this person go. I wish them well, and I'm moving on with my life. The outcome is the Queen of Wands. This is a card of a confident woman. This is a card that is connected to Leo. No, I connected to Leo. It's actually connected to Sagittarius. Actually, we're having a full moon in Sagittarius in June 17th, Taurus. And this is actually falling in your 8th house. And this is really great for letting go of any compulsive behaviors, anything that you need to let go of that has control over you. And this could include relationships. Actually, the 8th house is Scorpio's house. So it deals with all of those issues of transformation. But sometimes you have to let go of something in order to blossom like the sunflower into something that is positive. And so that's, kind of the theme I get for this particular reading. So I'm glad I thought of this. Before I end it here, I'm going to pick an affirmation for you from The Universe Has Your Back deck by Gabrielle Bernstein. By the way, her book, Spirit Junkie, is very inspiring if you haven't read it. Oh, this is nice. I don't know if I've ever picked this card before. Hope is the conduit for miracles. I like that picture and I like that color. I think that's kind of a Taurus kind of color, as far as I'm concerned. Exactly. Hope is the conduit for miracles. And it's funny because the word miracle implies that something is blessing you and coming from out of the blue, you know what I mean? But hope means that it's active on your part, that you have to do your part. And I can totally see that it's a two-way street, that you can't expect to have good things in your life, Taurus, if you're not willing to bring good vibes to your all of your situations. And that means that you have to practice radical positivity, even in the face of things like betrayal. Because what can happen, and what does happen to some people, is that they get betrayed and then they become bitter. And they start to become cynical. And it's because they really don't think that they're deserving of love. They feel like it was proven by that person who did that terrible thing to them that they are really, I guess it's not in the cards, pardon the pun, to have that happen. And the truth is that everyone is deserving of love, and that you have to cultivate hope. It doesn't just kind of like show up one day. You have to believe that there is somebody out there for you that I was going to say that belongs to you, but I don't want to say that, because I know that a Taurus person would totally resonate with that. And I don't believe that people belong to us and that they are our possessions. But I do believe that we really resonate very strongly with certain people. That we don't necessarily resonate with every single person on this planet in the same way. So we have to be willing to wait for those types of relationships that really indicate a strong connection with that person. The Four of Cups is a card of somebody who is maybe even bored by their partner. And they, maybe there was physical attraction for that person, but nothing else. And that will be that'll be a prime example of relationship that doesn't go very far, because you have to be able to have conversations with that person. You have to have things that you like to do together. If you're just totally different and you don't even have the same interests at all, how do you expect to even identify with that person and feel that strong bond with them? So in any case, Taurus, I hope that you enjoyed this, and good luck to you in June. Take care. Bye.